Hello, RJB here for RJB TV, and I want to start this video off with just saying that it's kind of amazing that they've sent people back into space with a reusable rocket. Something that I was expecting to be happening, but something that's still quite amazing. So to SpaceX, even though they won't be hearing me, and to NASA, even though they will never probably ever see this video, thanks a lot. Keep doing this awesome work, sending people into space and facilitating research and space exploration. Now that aside, let's get into the replays that I have today without any further ado. And you might be wondering, yes, that is HamburgerSasu once again. I cast replays of his yesterday, and I thought it would just be fun to cast his replays once again, because by now he's pretty much, well, the go-to favorite to cast, because his matches are always exciting. I honestly find his matches oftentimes more exciting than players who are technically a bit better than him, because he just takes a little bit more risk, plays a little bit more mechanical, and it's just a lot of fun to behold. And his opponent is the player known as GangNamLife, and I've been told by Libagu that GangNamLife is the ex-streamer Ho-Ho, and therefore he is the player in Busiaya, who played in Starcraft World Season 1 and 2, and he played in the beta season. So beta season, Season 1 and Season 2. And I couldn't for the love of God find out who he was. I mean, I did find out he was Ho-Ho quite early on, but I didn't know that GangNamLife was Ho-Ho. And now I do have that bit of information, which makes GangNamLife really skyrocket on my rankings in terms of how good I think he is. I mean, he's already shown really great stuff in the past. So I already knew he was pretty good, but this makes him go just a little bit higher up on my list. Now he's playing the Terran here, and I've been filling up a lot of time with idle talk, but he's playing the Magenta Terran. Started off with an 8-10 barracks, and of course barracks right afterwards on 10 and 11. Whereas HamburgerSasu is the Protoss. This is the olive green, or a pale green. It's the pale green. Pale green, it has to be. Started off with a Nexus, then a Gateway, then a Pylon, Nexus, Gateway, Forge, Choke with 2 cannons there in the front, which means he's going for a little bit of a delayed fighting power, but he'll have a lot of tech up and running at about the 6-minute mark, and he'll have a lot of options to go for: Dark Templars, Zealots with lags, Dragoons with range, Reavers with Dragoons, Zealot lags with Reavers, Reavers drops, High Templar drops, Dark Templar drops. There's so many different things you can do, like I didn't even name half of the options. He cancelled one of them cannons there in the front, going for just a single one. So you got those minerals back. It's a little bit risky though, because this does give GangNamLife the opportunity to go for somewhat of a cheesy rush, but I don't think he's going to go for somewhat of a cheesy rush, because he's going for the +1 command center first, and he's even saving up minerals for another one, I think, or maybe he's just going for 2 gas, right, both at the same time there on the side, but he's still not making Marines. This leads me to believe he's going for a 3rd one. But now he's making, alright, no, he's not going for a 3rd command center. He's going for 2 command centers there in total. Now has the Academy there on the way for Stim upgrade and medics. And of course, range soon as well. Gateway there in the front. I thought it was a robo, but it's a gateway, because it looks like HamburgerSasu is actually going for one of the first options I mentioned, and that is Dragoons with Dragoon range. Otherwise, he wouldn't be getting that Dragoon range. Otherwise, he would have already queued up a robo, and he hasn't queued up a robo facility or a Citadel of Doom. So Dragoons it is, and whether GangNamLife will be prepared for this one, I am not too sure. But GangNamLife, as I mentioned before, is a really good player. He's a really fast player as well, although in the later stages of the game, he slows himself down significantly. He's definitely capable of playing at 400 APM consistently, but he decides against doing so for, well, reasons. I guess slowing yourself down for a 1 versus 1 can be really beneficial at times. Anyways, on 22 SCVs now as 28 probes for HamburgerSasu. HamburgerSasu getting His Dragoons up and running. Still no Robo on anywhere in his base. Holding pylons there on the sides just to get the vision of those corner and side areas of his base. Whereas GangNamLife is already planning on going for the first attack, but HamburgerSasu knows this is coming, and that's why he's making Dragoons, because he wants to go for the counter attack against all those ground forces stimming into the fight. I guess this is kind of one of those counter attack strategies where you wait for the Terran to be over aggressive with their stim upgrade and their Marines, go in for the fight here in the front. And at the same time, your Dragoon range should be finishing up. Actually, his Dragoons is a little bit late, but it will finish once the fight here starts. Dragoons going in for the fight. GangNamLife is easily winning this one because HamburgerSasu actually invested 2 little minerals into those canister in the front, which now means the Marines are taking down the front there. But now a lot of Dragoons here into the fight. Much more Dragoons than those Marines can handle. GangNamLife is trying to go for it, but HamburgerSasu has set himself up for a pretty good position to fight in. Which means GangNamLife now has to return back to his own base and start bunkers there up in the front to put his Marines into, but he's going to lose a lot of Marines here on the retreat. Actually goes back in to buy himself some time, forces those Dragoons to micro backwards, while also now, once again, micro himself back into the middle of the map, buying time for the bunker to finish up, and once he has the bunker, going to put those Marines in the bunker and keep HamburgerSasu out of his base. That's the plan, but whether it will work, I'm not too sure, although he's buying himself a lot of time here by continuously going in and out with those Marines. Single bunker there, up and running. Factory also already has its siege tank spawned and siege mode on the way. So this might actually work if he gets himself enough time to keep repairing that bunker and sending those units in. Also, a siege tank almost outraged. Oh, he's gonna lose. No, he keeps the tank there alive in the back, which means that Dragoons were overreaching into the bunker, which now means the tank there in the back can set up shop and keep those Dragoons away from the bunker there in the front. And that was a very close early phase. Very tense 2 minutes there. Very intense 2 minutes. Or maybe it wasn't even 2 minutes, maybe it was like a minute there, but it was a very intense minute. GangNamLife was very close to getting rolled over, but he played that one extremely well, bought himself a lot of time with some great micro, great choices, great decision making to keep himself in the game. So now he's got a control tower on the way. Wait. Observer said GG. What's this? Is there someone else in my game? Is there someone else in my game? Is there someone else in my game? Wow, that's confusing. I saw the observer say GG, but there's no one else in my game. Maybe... I don't know what's going on. Anyway, looks like GangNamLife has secured himself a prolongation of his life and prolongation of the game. He's got a tank drop on the way here. Dropship almost finishing up. Tanks already next to the starport to load them up and send them over for the drop. And looks like HamburgerSasu though is planning on going for his own drop by shuttling his Dragoons over the hill into GangNamLife's base. This means that there's now 2 drops out on the map, but this drop is one intended for fighting and this one is intended to kill probes. And I think he's going to get some probe kills here with this one. Actually, he's putting Dragoons there up on the hill first and landing them behind the hill. With GangNamLife going in for the tank drop, has 2 tanks there on location. HamburgerSasu is not responding. HamburgerSasu responds and he kills 17 probes there in total. I think he killed 18. Well, he killed way more. He killed about 30, I think, there. Well, at least 25. He killed a lot of those. And it looks like the attack here also failed at the same time. The setup, I mean, he didn't deal enough damage with the frontal attack there to make this work. So this gives GangNamLife even more time to start rolling way past HamburgerSasu's ability to fight. But HamburgerSasu knows he has to at least try something here. He has to at least try to get some hits down there on the front. So he's got 3 Reavers here loaded up into those shuttles, ready to go for a frontal attack here on these bunkers, and those 2 tanks are in the back. It's a lot of Zealots, a lot of Dragoons. The frontal attack here, will it yield the results that he needs? He loads those Reavers up there in the front. Reavers getting shots off on the tanks, but the tanks both stay alive. One of them eventually does go down, but this is a very costly investment here for HamburgerSasu, because this is not working out in favor of HamburgerSasu, but this is definitely working out in favor for GangNamLife, because this is working. Does he still have a Reaver? He no longer has a Reaver. The entire mass of HamburgerSasu there has gone down into the meat grinder, and GangNamLife comes out on top, seemingly not losing all that many units, but really having to fight hard to save himself with some great micro, great control there, great repairs there as well. HamburgerSasu tried really hard, but it didn't quite get the results that he needed. So now he is on his hind foot. And the question is whether GangNamLife is going to give him time to recover or keep the pressure up on HamburgerSasu. Tank drop already there on the bottom side of the map. His base also growing way bigger. 5 barracks is there in total, 3 factories and a starport there. He's also building engineering base, hovering them up on the hill. Tank drop goes in for the hit there on the probes. He's got 39 probes at the moment. Both tanks have sieged up. Gets a no, doesn't get a shot off on any of the probes because he was just a little bit too late. Both of the cannons there had finished, and Dragoon and Zell's there in the mix as well, helping to defend. Now you have to start thinking, is this a great time for GangNamLife to go for the attack, or should he just bide his time and get bigger and hopefully outskill HamburgerSasu? The fact that he's on 1 command center means that his base and his unit size is a little bit bigger, while his army size is a little bit bigger, but his economy is a little bit smaller than it could have been if he'd gone for +2 command centers. But then again, he might not have been alive if he had gone for +2 command centers because of that Dragoon pressure early on. Front is there, is walled off. He's got level 1 marine weapon upgrade already finished up, and he's going for level 1 armor there as well, whereas HamburgerSasu is going for Dragoons to help Dark Templars. I'm sorry. He's going for Dark Templars to help himself stay alive against a potential frontal attack coming in from GangNamLife. GangNamLife is one of those players who will take his time, get bigger really quick. He is one of those players who can get big really quick. As you can see, he's already on 150 supply, 10 minutes in, and that is despite a lot of fighting that has been happening. And he set himself up for a pretty good defense here around his minerals, in the case HamburgerSasu gets to throw one of those deadly shuttle drops onto his mineral patch. It's already coming in, but he's looking for a pretty good opening to go in through. Just flies in over those turrets instead and unloads there on the low ground. While Reaver there on the high ground has to be put on the low ground. And just there to kill units and open a hole, find himself a window into GangNamLife's base. But GangNamLife holds this one without much effort because he's got these tanks set up in a pretty good spot and also manages to not lose all of his marines there to the Reaver shots. So he's managing himself quite well. 57 probes now for HamburgerSasu, 68 for GangNamLife. GangNamLife will now start adding on another command center here on the bottom side and fill out all of his gas within the next minute or two. And also set himself up for yet another tank drop. Where is he going to drop? Is he going to try this bottom portion here again, up there? Or is he just going to land up on the hill here and try to take down this entire portion? He has some options, and which one he's going for, I don't know. Although we can see him flying around the map here, so he might be trying to go for this little portion there. Which in theory is easier to land on, because there's no buildings here. This side has buildings, this side does not have all that many buildings, so it's easier, there's more space to land those tanks, so there's theoretically speaking a higher chance to keep 1 or 2 of those tanks alive for a shot on the probes. As he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tanks in those dropships, but the shuttle drop also moving out over the left side of the map for HamburgerSasu, now changing direction to the northern side up to the right, finding himself a nice little hole to fly through, and that nice little hole is this entire portion here and this portion there. That's where HamburgerSasu will come through, and he's going to load there on the, he's going to unload right next to the command center. GangNamLife sends his SCVs to safety, but there's Templars there as well. There's going to be 3 storms there. He storms Marines, storms SCVs, but he misses most of the SCVs because he only lost 8 SCVs there to those storms. So GangNamLife actually prevents most of the damage from occurring. But now a tank drop is coming here on the bottom side as well. 72 probes for HamburgerSasu. That's 6 tanks now sieging up next to the probe line. He gets a pretty good shot off. No, he doesn't get a good shot off. He doesn't get a good shot off on those probes. Most of the probes staying alive there. He went from 72 to 56. Meaning he's only lost about 16 probes, which is something that still hurts him. It still hurts his economy quite a bit, but it's something he can recover from. But every single little lead that GangNamLife buys himself is advantageous for GangNamLife. Dodges the storms there pretty well. But there might still be a Templar in one of those. No, the Templar immediately goes down. There's still a Templar there, but it went down before it could storm. GangNamLife is playing this one really well. Also setting up a nice little ball or block of factories there for Goliaths and Vultures. It's got tank upgrades on the way, weapons and armor. Both of them almost finished up. So Marines are on 1-1. Another drop comes in. This one also going for the SCVs. He's dodging the storm. The first storm gets dodged. Second storm also gets dodged, but he loses nonetheless about 5 or 6 of his SCVs. Now 56 SCVs, he was at 68, when the drop started, so he's lost 12 in total so far, and he's planning on making a couple more just to replenish his numbers. But I think that once he hits about 70 SCVs, he should be fine for the counterattack. He should be able to go for the counterattack there. Because HamburgerSasu has been kept smaller than he should be. Because this is the base he has when he's been getting harassed and attacked on his probes continuously by GangNamLife for the last 6 minutes, or 7 minutes even. So he could have been bigger and been more of a threat. Actually, it looks like there was still another Templar inside those shuttles that managed to get a storm off but didn't kill anything. GangNamLife has been very, very aware, although the medics there have to start healing up those SCVs because there's a lot of low HP SCVs there inside that pile of stacked SCVs. He's moving a lot of tanks to the back because he's using his scans, and he saw that there's a lot of shuttles being loaded up once again here for HamburgerSasu, and another tank drop once again moving out here for GangNamLife. I don't think this will get results, but it might just get results because you're never quite sure if those tanks will stay alive for long enough. In he goes, starts unloading those tanks there on the low ground, but HamburgerSasu sending his probes away, gets a shot off, kills 16 probes once. Oh, he went from 79 to 53. That's 26 probes there going down for HamburgerSasu. Definitely something he couldn't afford to have happened, because GangNamLife's base is almost finished. It means that GangNamLife will definitely be looking to start attacking. He's already started attacking with those Marines here on the mill and those tanks there up on the hill. He's cleared out those cannons that HamburgerSasu was building, so there's nothing in between GangNamLife and HamburgerSasu, and GangNamLife finishing his opponent off. But he wants to be sure, he just wants to be sure that his minerals are a little bit higher than they are now, because he's only on 500 minerals because of all the storm dodging that he's been doing and all the spending that he's been doing as well. And his army size is not yet where he wants it to be. He's clearing out this bottom portion of the map here. He doesn't find anything whatsoever, but just in the case that there was something there, it's always worthy to try and see if there's something there. I need a glass of water. Goes in with the Marines, but he runs away because he knows a Templar has been dropped there up on the hill. No point losing those Marines if you can keep them alive. Once again, drop comes in. Will this one finally get some results for HamburgerSasu? GangNamLife runs his SCVs to safety, and none of the shuttles get to unload a Templar. Or maybe he did get to unload a Templar, but the Templar went down before it could storm. GangNamLife fixed 68 SCVs. HamburgerSasu 68 probes. GangNamLife is really taking his time here. He's really taking his time. He's giving HamburgerSasu the opportunity to keep attacking. Some other players, at least this is something I've heard about GangNamLife, he likes to take his time and not immediately go for the attack. And in this game, he is sitting cozily, happily building his base, dodging storms, although the storm doesn't come out. SCVs, though, all stay alive. Shuttles once again leaving the base. HamburgerSasu is trying his hardest to keep up the pressure, but nothing is landing or connecting. And that means that there's a lot of pressure now on HamburgerSasu because GangNamLife has reached maximum supply cap, so he can start attacking finally. As I've mentioned before, GangNamLife is not one of those players who will move out early to go for the counterattack. He likes to sit for a little while longer in his base, make sure that he's completely fine and rich, and has some upgrades before he goes for the attack. Whether that's the optimal form of playing, I don't know. Some players like to go for a timed early counterattack, like HamburgerSasu or Mong or Brain. They like to go for pretty early counterattacks, but GangNamLife is still sitting in its base. Drop comes in, once again, SCVs dodging the storm, gets a pretty good storm off, actually kills 13 SCVs there with that storm, which might mean that GangNamLife is gonna sit tight for a little while longer. And sitting tight for a little while longer means that HamburgerSasu can keep building and building and building. He's adding 2 more robos to his base, some gateways there as well, preparing another shuttle drop. But these shuttle drops have to start dealing damage. And GangNamLife is just filling out a supply cap, lifting up his barracks, getting more side vision over the hills. Took him a while, but he's doing it now nonetheless. it's quite a stark contrast that GangNamLife is playing at 400 plus APM, notably with very high EAPM during the early phase, but then drops down below 200 or just above 200 once it hits the late game. And he also kind of takes a lot of time. You would think that with high APM he'd be a little bit quicker with filling out his base, but he really wants to play it safe. HamburgerSasu sending his zealots there up onto the hill just to clear out those hills, while also building a gateway proxy here on the left side of the map, just to have a second source of zealots and gateway units coming out onto the map to make life a little bit harder for GangNamLife. Shuttle drop once again coming in over the exact same window that HamburgerSasu has been using. This time he's sniping the shuttles with his Goliaths with 2 Templars there. Managed to unload, but the Templars immediately go down to the Marines. Stint Marines are pretty damn strong. Look at, he pretty much has his entire supply count here in the back, which means that his front is actually being taken down here by those zealots now. With those level 2 weapon damage upgrades. No armor and shield yet, but armor and shield are both on the way. Scarab upgrade damage also on the way, whereas GangNamLife is already on level 2 for his tanks and his tank armor. And the Marines are on 1-2, but Marines are being discontinued because he lifted up all those barracks. But it looks like he's going for the fight. He's finally at 20 minutes going for the attack here on HamburgerSasu. HamburgerSasu still rather small in his base size. Although don't be fooled, because this is 6 gateways and another 6 here on the way for a total of 12, which if we add that up with all the gateways he already has, means 18, 21, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. He'll have 30 gateways out. But whether he'll be in time, I'm not too sure. His gas is quite low, and GangNamLife with the superior upgrades is already moving out over the middle of the map here, seeking the confrontation. After that very peaceful and, well, non-violent 20 minutes from GangNamLife's side, he is now knocking on HamburgerSasu's door. And HamburgerSasu does not have much to answer. He's got units on the way here with on his proxy base, but those units might not arrive on time, because look at this, GangNamLife is pushing in deeper and deeper. And don't be fooled, because this is a total of 8, and this is a total of 8 there as well, so you got a total of 16 factories. And he's moving out over the map. Can HamburgerSasu turn this around still? He's got some steady production there coming in, and he's got a small army slowly becoming a bigger army here on the left side of the map. Reavers there loaded on the roll ground. Get some great tank shots off there on those tanks with the Reavers. Can he clear it all out? He clears it all out, it appears. Actually pretty great defense there from HamburgerSasu, but GangNamLife already sending out another wave of units. So a lot of Marines here back at his base that might be hurting his army size, but nonetheless you always got to keep something in your base to keep defending against those shuttle drops. But I don't think shuttle drops are gonna be... No, I'm wrong. Shuttle drop is coming out here for HamburgerSasu. 2 Reavers inside that shuttle, comes out, goes into the base, but the Reaver might get sniped, so he unloads her on the side to try and at least kill something, because he knows if he sends it any deeper, the Marines are going to take down that shuttle, and eventually the Reavers there on the lookout do go down. Now the tanks there in the front, sieging up, setting up shop, ready to bust down the front door. Below the front door, not much is left of it, so he's planning on kicking down the house, breaking the house down. Army there on the top side will clear it out because it was sent in to save his life. Looks like GangNamLife is in the process of winning this one for sure, because I don't see any way for HamburgerSasu to make it out of this one alive, or intact at least. He's gonna call it GG very soon. He's trying to bottle up units there in the back, trying to bottle up units here on the top side as well. But he doesn't have enough time, because GangNamLife is already within the middle of HamburgerSasu's base, and he's spamming the same bad-mannered leave, get out, as HamburgerSasu is usually calling out to his opponents. GangNamLife is purely doing this because HamburgerSasu usually does this as well. He's just spamming his life. He's not even clicking anymore, he's just spamming the chat, not clicking whatsoever. And yeah, HamburgerSasu leaves the game. GangNamLife takes home the very first game. That's a Terran vs Protoss win for GangNamLife against HamburgerSasu. He pretty much got that off of the back of pretty successful tank drops that bought him a lot of time to scale up, get big. And as we saw, GangNamLife really took a lot of time to get really big and really strong. But once he was there, There was no more stopping him because HamburgerSasu was simply too far behind, really. He was too far behind on his opponent and was incapable of dealing any damage to that SCV line that GangNamLife had, which he securely kept alive. He did lose a couple of his SCVs from time to time, but nothing serious. And well, of course, this is a series of matches, so let's go into the second match, see how that one pans out. Because we've got HamburgerSasu on the Protoss once again. He wants another chance, another shot. He wants to kill GangNamLife's Terran. And whether he'll be capable of doing so, well, there's only one way to find out, and that's by going into the conflict itself. Looks like a cross-map game. Cross-map games usually don't end that quick for the Terran or the Protoss. There's a lot of space between both bases, so it might take a while. I'm gonna speed up the first 2 minutes. HamburgerSasu is the olive green Protoss, GangNamLife is the blue Terran there on the top side. He starts off with a depot. And he's gonna start off with a command center. That's something we have not seen in a very, very long time. Starting off with a command center as the Terran. It's a very greedy start, but if you are convinced that your opponent is starting off with a Nexus, it's definitely worth it. Because in that case, it carries no risks. You will be able to match your opponent's army size and their production rate pretty much just as well. And the +1 command center at the start gives you an economic boost that lets you keep up with all of the Protoss offensive options quite well. It pretty much is only a very weak option in the case the Protoss goes for is it normal game speed? This is normal game speed. So it's pretty much only a very dangerous option in the case Protoss is going for early rushes. For example, a proxy mid-gate, quick Dragoons, or 2 gateway into a Nexus. Then it is a very, very dangerous option to go for the +1 command center. If that is not the case, then of course go for the +1 command center. HamburgerSasu looks to be going for the exact same strategy as last time around. He's got Dragoons there on the way, 3 gateways already up and running, and 2 cannons there up in the front. And because it's a cross-map game, I don't think GangNamLife is going to try to knock down the front, but he's going to at least try to keep that Zealot out of his base. In it comes. Will HamburgerSasu find a way in? I don't think so. Oh, wait. Zealot there, walking into the corner. He's going to try to make his way through. But I don't think... Oh, he's got to make it because GangNamLife makes a small mistake there. But will he catch the Zealot? Zealot there coming in. Zealot there stays alive. Zealot goes down. So Dragoon range is almost finished. He's got Dragoons already on the way. He's got 6 of them queued up at the same time. That's quite greedy, but he doesn't need those the gas or the minerals for anything else. Now he's going to start moving cross-map. GangNamLife has no information that HamburgerSasu is up to this specific plan. But he's got 3 barracks running. He's got an academy. He's got a factory on the way. Got 2 medics finished up there as well. I don't think he has stim upgrade yet, but it will soon, of course, be on the way. Maybe he's forgotten it. Oh, he's going for a range. That means he probably already has stim upgrade. Moving over the map. SCV's moving into place to start their bunkers. Oh, he's going for depots first. Oh, he doesn't know that. Oh, there's a bunker. There's a bunker. But of course, GangNamLife is not yet aware that HamburgerSasu is going for the Dragoons, which means that this depot here in the front is going to go down. Those Marines here moving over the map, trying to set up shop here and fish for an opening or a possible... Wait, no, he's turning around. GangNamLife is playing it safe. Can HamburgerSasu break his way through here? That's the question we're posed with. Machine shop only just now starting. More Dragoons on the way from the base. This might actually turn into a pretty painful situation for GangNamLife. GangNamLife goes on the offensive, tries to attack and keep those Dragoons away. And he has Marine range almost finished up. He's actually doing some damage to those Dragoons, but also losing a lot of Marines there at the same time. The bullying there got cancelled. Loses a depot, which means no, he's not supply stuck yet. Goes for the bunker. Bunker is going to go down because not being repaired by GangNamLife there. GangNamLife making some grievous mistakes here, but he tries to go in, tries to buy himself more time, but HamburgerSasu now has a free opening into GangNamLife's base. And GangNamLife having no siege mode, no tank, no siege mode or tank on the way either. will not be capable of defending against this one because more Dragoons there are on the way. And Reaver Robotics facility is also already on the way there for HamburgerSasu, but GangNamLife goes in for the attack. And as you can see, gets a pretty good surround on those Dragoons. It forces those Dragoons to retreat. But HamburgerSasu manages to ball up his Dragoons, buy himself some more time, and now is looking to go back in. All those medics are healing those Marines, but the Marines have not yet been healed, which means the Marines are going to go down quicker than you would think they'd go down. It's always worth it to wait for the medics to heal up those Marines, but the Marines are now on low HP. Marines are fishing, Marines are going, overextending. Siege Mode and Siege Tank are both now on the way for GangNamLife. And Zeltlax is also on the way there for HamburgerSasu. HamburgerSasu has 2 robots up and running and 2 Reavers there on the way as well. But the Dragoons have retreated over the middle of the map. And GangNamLife is still fishing, still looking to push those Dragoons away. This is some amazing play by GangNamLife, who now also is making a turret there in the front. Has no new bunkers, although he might need some new bunkers there in the front. HamburgerSasu is picking off those Marines there in the back. Looking to go in once again, but Tank there has finished. Siege Mode also almost finished. But now GangNamLife is going in. Those Dragoons are pretty strong there, and technically almost as strong as those Marines there. Maybe even stronger than those Marines, but the Marines are bottling up once again. All of those Marines are being picked up by those Dragoons, and he's got 2 Reavers finished up there in the back. Reavers are moving out. He's still keeping those Dragoons away with the tank and the Marines. So he's actually fighting this off really well without the use of a single bunker. After losing the bunkers, so he's doing an amazing job with those micro, but Zeltlax have already finished for the Zealots. Which now means this army composition from HamburgerSasu is looking very, very dangerous. Another tank there in the back. He's trying to spread out his units a little bit more. More Marines are on the way, although he stopped making Marines now at the moment. Reavers there landing. Reavers firing on the Marines and on the tanks, kills some Marines, kills more Marines, kills the tanks there as well. And it looks like HamburgerSasu is capable of running GangNamLife over with his army size here. And this is looking like a very, very different game than the last game. HamburgerSasu is playing this one extremely well, and GangNamLife is making some minor mistakes that are really coming back to haunt him. Also sieging up his tank way too far there in the front. Tank goes down to the Dragoons. Reavers don't even have to participate. Reavers taking down Marines. More units coming in from the base there as well. And it looks like GangNamLife is actually already dead here. There's no way he can survive this with Marine spawning there. And he calls GG because he knows it. And HamburgerSasu takes home game number 2. So eventually he does get the Protoss versus Terran win, and this one looked very convincing. This one looked more like the HamburgerSasu that we're used to. The HamburgerSasu with great micro, great multitasking, great attacking, and great timing and pacing to his gameplay. Although I do have to admit, GangNamLife held that really well for quite a while. But he made some mistakes in his optimization in his defense that ultimately came back to haunt him and prematurely end his life in this match. So let's go for game number 3, because of course there's more replays in this replay set. Now, they have switched races. GangNamLife is on the Protoss, HamburgerSasu is on the Terran. We might be seeing some explosive gameplay for HamburgerSasu, because that's what he does when he is the Terran. He goes for explosive gameplay. But GangNamLife also has a pretty darn good Protoss, so we might be seeing things. This game could go either way. Could go either way. So he's laughing. He's laughing his ass off. He's laughing a lot. That's a lot of laughing. That's a lot of ha 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 ha. Coming out from HamburgerSasu there. I'm speeding up the game a little bit just to see what's gonna happen. GangNamLife is actually scouting his opponent on his first try. Wait a second. This looks a little bit fishy here from GangNamLife. Did HamburgerSasu turn on his vision to BM his opponent? Is that what happened? Is that what happened? Looks like GangNamLife is gonna win this one, and HamburgerSasu is... HamburgerSasu? Did he get stream sniped maybe? I don't know. I don't think he got stream sniped. I just think he gave GangNamLife vision as a means of BMing him, which now is giving GangNamLife the opportunity to just go for a very cheesy, sneaky cannon rush. Is it going to work though? I mean, the cannon is pretty close to finishing. He hasn't seen it yet. More cannons are now on the way here. HamburgerSasu turning back because he knows something is up. He might have heard Cannon there in the back is finishing up, and it is finished up, which now means HamburgerSasu is in a pretty tough spot. He's pulling off his SCVs because he has to use SCVs to kill the cannon there in the back now. Or he might go for the probe. The probe runs away. Probe stays alive for now. SCV's trying to get onto the cannon. But is he gonna get this? Is he gonna get this? 2 more cannons finishing up. I don't think he's gonna get this. He's gonna lose his SCV there as well. Do note, Koreans have are against using stacked workers, so that's why he didn't stack his workers to attack it, because they don't use it on purpose. So it looks like HamburgerSasu. Yeah, I think HamburgerSasu knows something fishy's up here. So regardless of that, HamburgerSasu loses the game within 2 minutes and 40 seconds to a cannon rush. It looks really fishy, but I know HamburgerSasu is streaming this match, which means that more people should know that it is fishy. I didn't know what he said there at the end, but it might be a real possibility that HamburgerSasu turned on his vision, because he's one of the players who might try that specifically. Or maybe GangNamLife stream sniped him to just screw with his mental. Not much to say about that one, but let's move on to the next match. So in the final match, there might be some confusion here, because when I clicked on the replay, both players showed up with the name GangNamLife, and both players are in fact GangNamLife, which I think is a bug in the replay interface, because this is impossible. Both their names are identical. Both their names are GangNamLife. It's exactly the same. So I honestly don't know which of these two players is GangNamLife and which of these two players is HamburgerSasu. I think one of them used spacebar somewhere in their name, but I can't find out which of the two, so we'll just have to be looking at their APMs to determine who is who. HamburgerSasu will most likely be hovering at around 300, as you can see here, and GangNamLife, the real GangNamLife, will probably be hovering at around 500 or 400 in the early game. That's going to be the only way we can deduce it. Or maybe in the late game, when GangNamLife's APM drops down to below 250 and HamburgerSasu stays above 300, we might also know which of the two is who. Until then, I'm going to call them teal and yellow, because this is very confusing and I didn't see this one coming. I did not see this coming. But I honestly think that this is HamburgerSasu and this is the real GangNamLife. GangNamLife is starting off with a +1 command center once again, which is something he already has done in the past on his turn. But then again, this might also be GangNamLife, because HamburgerSasu always makes his +1 nexus above his other nexus, never below it, which is something GangNamLife would do. GangNamLife would build this nexus right there. So I honestly don't know what is going on here. It's funny, I can see his hotkeys. He's got his nexus on hotkey number 3. Alright, he's going for a 3rd nexus there, and a forge now as well. Honestly feel this is GangNamLife. I think it is safe to say that this is GangNamLife. +1 command center, close to finishing. Barracks is also close to finishing. Refinery there on the way, of course, as is tradition. Gateway there, also on the way. This looks a lot like GangNamLife's build, but I honestly just don't know. HamburgerSasu never spams his APM this high. That's really something for GangNamLife to be doing. Cam coming out there in the front. A little bit late, a little bit late. Academy there coming in. Arena's out. There's honestly not much happening, because that's just the nature of the game in the early phase. Not much happening. 2 cannons there on the way there as for, of course, as well. GangNamLife, well, yellow. I think yellow is actually GangNamLife. I don't know, because his APM is going lower than what HamburgerSasu's APM would be. I'm at a loss here. I'm at a loss for words. His probe count is going to skyrocket very, very quickly, but I think he misclicked some of his probes because he's not mining from both, but he's mining from just one of them. He put 6 probes on the same gas. That's a very, very big misclick from yellow here. Oh, GangNamLife. I think we can be pretty certain that he's GangNamLife, but he hasn't noticed yet that he's mining from a single geyser and not from 2. As you can see, still 50,000. He misclicked the second click, which is slowing down his gas income significantly. And he might be wondering, he might be asking himself, what the hell is going on with my gas income? Why can't I build the buildings that I want to build? What is going on here? Why can't I? Why can't I build everything that I need? Oh, he's caught on. He's caught on. Finally, he is caught on to what's going on. He's now mining from both geysers. So he's noticed. He's noticed. Robo is on the way. Citadel is on the way. And for the... This might be the real GangNamLife after all. This might be the real one. This HamburgerSasu would never make his factory right there. He would make it right here or here. Nonetheless, I am very confused. 2 starports on the way there for Teal. He's got Marines there spaced out quite nicely, but he didn't put them there to keep the enemy inside of their own base. He's instead focusing on keeping the enemy out of his own base. Maybe this is just a completely different player. Maybe we're looking at a completely different player who has entered the match. Because neither of these 2 players are making much sense. Alright, I mean in terms of their APMs not matching their usual. Templars Archive on the way for yellow. Support Bay on the way for yellow. And he's got 4th Geyser being mined from. Adding on more gateways to his base there as well. 4th cannon there in the front. He's got 2 robos there in the front as well. And his first tank has finished for GangNamLife. Well, I mean Teal. And Siege Mode also on the way for Teal. Raids are on the way for Teal. He's got a range finished up there soon as well for Teal. Because as we can see, range is on the way for Teal. He's got weapon upgrade on the way for Teal. Depot on the way for Teal. Turret on the way there on the sides for Teal. I said for Teal so many times now that I'm sure you're kind of annoyed by it. He's scanning. Let's see what he scanned. He scanned the front there, saw the 2 robo, saw the shuttle, saw the Stargate. He pretty much saw everything. Those are 2 extremely well executed scans there from Teal. Building the skeleton of his base. This is looking a lot like something that GangNamLife would be doing. HamburgerSasu wouldn't build the entire skeleton of his base from the get-go. He would start off here and slowly progress to this portion there on the side. And considering Teal's APM is staying and hovering at around 300, I think this might be the real HamburgerSasu, and this might be the real GangNamLife, who's now moving out over the map with 2 of his shuttles, 1 Reaver, 4 Zealots in there, aiming to start dealing some damage. He's flying over this path here, avoiding the raid there on the side. He's going in from this portion there, I think. He's going to fly right over the shuttle, although now we can the turret. You can see the turret now. He's going to fly in right over the turret. Ignore that it exists. Shuttle stays alive. Unloads the shuttle. Unloads the Reaver. Reaver gets shot off. Reaver's going to go down to those Marines there, but the Zealots are going to clear out those Marines there at least. But now another shuttle comes in. 2 Templars inside it. He's going to keep that up on the hill for now while building his base, but now he sends it in. And it reaches the destination of those SCVs, but 2 Templars are unloading. 2 Templars got a shots off. No, he storms on the command center. What? What? What a misclick. What a monumental misclick. Clicking on the command center there. Shuttle's now going down. Another drop or leaving the base. This is definitely GangNamLife. Their APMs are pretty much even. So I cannot base it off of their APMs because their APMs are the same. Actually the same. They're actually going below 290 at the same time. I'm sure they're going above 290 at the same time as well. Yeah, this is impossible to deduce. This is impossible to find out who is who. it's a giant mystery. So one more storm drop comes in, 2 Templars, 2 Zealots. It's trying to reach destination. Those SCVs there, though, he dropping the Zealots. The Templars still in there, starts storming with those Marines, but the Marines are dodging the storm quite well. There's one more Templar in there, storms more Marines, but the Marines this time again dodge. No, the Marines run right back into the storm. As those Marines are misplaced, in comes the real drop that's going for the SCVs. He gets some pretty good storms up on those SCVs and kills a lot of SCVs there, but not enough. He just killed about 16 of them, but 44 of them stay alive, which is more than enough in this stage in the game for Teal to stay alive and running and functioning. This is definitely GangNamLife. This is definitely GangNamLife, because HamburgerSasu would never build his base like this. But every single gateway unit upgrade on the way, still making drops from only 2 Robos, but he's getting some success with those drops because he's keeping HamburgerSasu, who is most definitely Teal, rather busy. Well, in comes another drop. It's on location, ready to go in. There's 4 Templars, 2 shuttles, 4 Templars, 4 Zealots, 1 Zealot there, trying to get into the shuttle as well, but the shuttle is full. Goodbye, my friend. So in comes the shuttle. Will he reach destination? He's flying around. He's gonna look for a way in, but he cannot get a way in. One shuttle goes down. Templar on the low ground. Templar storms. Templar misses. He knows he couldn't go for the SCVs, so he tried to wriggle his way through. But wriggling his way through didn't get him any results other than 2 turret kills, because this one is gonna burn down. So there's 1 turret kill, 2 turret kills, at least something. It's not worth the investment, but you always gotta bank on at least, or you always have to be sure that you're at least gonna lose some of those shuttles and not get any results with a couple of them. That's just the way it is. So tank upgrades almost finished. Ship upgrades also on the way for Teal or HamburgerSasu. GangNamLife balling up his shuttles here on the side, planning on going in. He's got 4 Templars, 4 Zealots, 1 Templar, and 7 Zealots. And those shuttles go down with single volleys from those raids. Raids are pretty damn strong. Pretty damn strong, because once you have, how many raids? 10 raids, you can one-shot shuttles. Because shuttles have... Where's the shuttle? Like the one time I have to select and click on a shuttle to see how much HP it has, it's just gone. So raid deals 20 damage. It's the level 1 upgrade, so 22 damage. It's got 160 HP, well 140 HP, so you only need 7 shuttles actually. 7 raids actually to take down a shuttle. But he's got 10, which is more than enough. More than enough. Setting himself up for the frontal attack here, and Teal is still somewhat small, but he's setting himself up for some really successful attacks here. Well, defenses here, because he's the person defending, not attacking. Got Valkyries there on the top side to intercept those shuttles. He's also using a scan to see what his opponent is up to, but the scan expired, so I didn't see it. Darn it. Darn it, darn it, darn it indeed. Going in, HamburgerSasu unloads his bunkers, stimps them up, so he can kill those Zealots there, attacking the depots quicker, but in comes a shuttle drop. Undetected. It doesn't go all the way. Single Templar there, single Templars there, go down to single volleys off that raid stack. Pretty good work there from Teal. Stays alive once again, doesn't lose any workers, and his opponent leaves the game. This is alright. I think we can discard this entire final game. It just makes no sense at all. He leaves and the game isn't over. The amount of minerals he has leads me to believe that it's definitely the real GangNamLife. Did he just give up? I don't know what was happening. This is so confusing. The first 2 games were honestly really fun to watch. They were pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. And then the 2 following games were just a pure mess, basically. Like the cannon rush, it has to be a stream snipe, or it has to be a shared vision. And then this final game where he just gives up. He just gives up and disappears. And then to add to that, both players are called GangNamLife, which does not make any sense. It either has to be spacebar, like the person used spacebars in their name, like after or before their name to make this name, or maybe the replay just the system just bugged out and called both of them GangNamLife instead of calling one of them GangNamLife? Because there's no, the L isn't an I, the I isn't an L, so that just